And it was a natural progression. I mean, I fell in love with it as a kid, as most kids do. And then I just ended up fortunately having teachers and mentors that pushed me and helped me and answered my questions. But it was like this addiction and this passion I fell in love with as a kid, and I ran with it, and I started performing for friends, and then I started performing in the theater at school, and then I started performing in the hallways, and then I started volunteering at shows, and then it was just this natural progression. And every step of it just felt so right for me. Building a show, getting on stage by myself, all of these steps just felt like it was exactly where I was meant to be at the time. And I think that helped. And all I wanted to do was get out there and do it. So I was so driven to get out of school because I knew what I wanted to do already, and I felt like I was surrounded by all these people that were deciding, and all my friends were, okay, we want to go to college. What do we want to do? Are we going to go to college and figure it out later? And they were just trying to figure out what they wanted in life. And I was sitting there, as a 13-year-old kid being like, I know what I want, and I want this, and I want it now. So I worked, as hard as I could to get out of school. And my parents just said, we believe you. We support you. We know you're going to get it just as much as you think you will. Just finish high school. That's all we say. Finish school, get your diploma, make that happen, you know and then whether you go to college or not is up to you. And I was actually planning to originally. I was going to go to school in Vegas. I was going to finish high school, go to school in Vegas, and then as soon as I graduated, or while I was graduating, COVID happened. So I couldn't travel, and people, obviously the whole pandemic happened. So I started working at the bike dealership, because it was an essential service and it stayed open, and that took up my life for a few years. And I think I almost lost magic in that because it was comfortable and practical. And when you don't love something that much, you don't I mean, I loved it. It was a great job. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't my whole world. Magic is my whole world. I care so much about every show I do. I care so much about every decision I make and every puzzle piece in this giant masterpiece I'm trying to create. But with that, it was like, oh, I'm passionate about this. I like it. It's stable pay. There's nothing crazy about it. I don't have great days and awful days and good shows and bad shows. I just go in and do this thing that I like, and I'm done with it. So I almost didn't make it back to magic through that. But again, it gets me when I walk away.
It is something weird. It's like we've all got that passion, that creative hobby that we all want to do. And I love that you actually listened to that voice and kept going because, I mean, I'm 41 and I still have no idea what I want to do. I'm doing a job in an office, and it's only recently I started the podcast, and I just enjoy speaking to people and being curious and, seeking out information about them and finding out. And I think a lot of people go to their deathbed and think, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd lived a life that was truer to who I am as a person. And I
Yeah.
love that you're inspiring young people with the same sense of wonder and awe that you had when you were younger. But you said during that COVID time that that was the first time that 9 to 5 was becoming
Yeah.
nice and enjoyable. How did you break out that sense of comfort zone, that fear, to go after that passion? Was the drive to get back to magic strong enough, or did you struggle to make the initial step?
I did, and I owe that a lot to the people around me that kept trying to, invite me to shows or do things or come back into the community and tiptoe in it, because I think the people around me that knew me knew once I started talking about it, or I remembered what it was like, I'd fall in love with it within a second again, like the first time, and never leave it. But it was hard for me because I loved my job and I was good at my job, and it couldn't break me.